He was stolen from us.
Caden Linderman suffers from autism, but his parents say it wasn't always like this. Kurt and Kimberly Linderman say Caden was a walking, talking 15-month-old boy when he went to the doctor's office for his shots.
They call it the catch-up schedule. He got 6 shots, 9 vaccines in one day.
Just like any other parent, we believed in the vaccines. We felt the need to keep our child disease-free.
I held our son while they stuck the needles in him. They told us to give him Tylenol, and we took him home.
A couple of hours after his vaccines, he started running the fever. Within less than 24 hours, he had exploding diarrhea that incidentally lasted 3.5 years.
And he quit looking at me. He quit noticing his surroundings. He didn't even care. He would just sit by himself, scream.
He also lost his verbal communication.
He would lay across the arm of the couch and push his stomach. He pushed his forehead into everything.
Just a basic failure to thrive, and it was all immediately after the vaccine. At first, we didn't even think about the vaccine. It was so ingrained in us that vaccines were just a normal part of childhood.
I took him to the doctor at least twice a week, asking the doctor, what happened to him? Where is my son? This is not the same child that I had. Where did he go?
After getting no answers, the Lindermans decided to do their own research and discovered their son had developed autism. Caden's story led them down a path of leadership in autism awareness. Through their work with Autism File magazine and Autism One Radio, they've met thousands of parents who share the same story. The Lindermans say the numbers don't lie. In the 80s, 1 in 10,000 children was diagnosed with autism. Now the CDC says it's more like 1 in 91 kids.
They coincide with the rates of the vaccines being increased in the schedule.
Now it's their life's work to warn other parents of the dangers.
I'm furious. We're being lied to. It's simple as that. There's plenty of studies out there that are absolutely looking at this issue and have proven it. And the doctors out there listening to the AAP, the American Academy of Pediatrics, they're just listening to them. They're not looking at the facts. And the facts are vaccines play a major role in the autism epidemic.
Melissa Shriver, KHQA TV7 News.
He became a completely different child. It was like he was in a shell of himself.
That's what Kurt and Kimberly Linderman say happened to their son, Caden. Although they are convinced of a connection, doctors like Dr. Dennis Go with the Quincy Medical Group say there is no solid proof behind Wakefield's study of only 12 children.
What parents should realize is that this was a flawed study. It was a fraudulent study. They need to look at the science behind the vaccines.
Some experts say one of the reasons parents may believe there's a link between the two is because many of the symptoms of autism occur around the age many vaccines are given.
Do you think that this is just kind of a coincidence?
No, I personally know of tens of thousands of parents that have our same exact story.
Kurt Linderman believes some vaccines may act as a sort of autism trigger for children with certain genetics. He blames what he calls the one-size-fits-all vaccination schedule in the U.S.
Do you know that your child, by looking at them, is capable of removing those toxins from the body? We don't know that, so why are we treating our children like cattle?
Is there a connection then between autism and vaccines?
There is no proven connection.
Dr. Go says because every child is different, there is no way to know every possible risk factor. He says while parents worry about the number of antigens children are exposed to in a vaccine, it's nothing compared to the number of viruses and bacterial organisms a child is exposed to every day. And he adds small risk associated with the vaccines are nothing compared to the diseases they prevent.
The risk is very, very, very low, but the risk is there.
Dr. Go and Dr. Catherine Collins with Blessing Physician Services agree. Parents don't like to hear about risk, even weighed against risk of measles, polio, or mumps.
Parents are simply trying to make the right decision for their child. The difficult thing is that we don't see many of the illnesses, potentially serious or life-threatening illnesses that we vaccinated against, because the majority of the population is vaccinated.
But parents like the Lindermans believe scientists may be trading one epidemic for another.
I know it in my heart and soul because it happened to my child.